It's that time, guys. It's time to go 4 downs in the NFL. I'm Michelle Smallman alongside the Ocho Evan Cohen and our resident Super Bowl champion Chris Canty. Pat, if you will.
First down.
Dolphins, Falcons. CC, if the Dolphins lose, will you be shocked if Mike McDaniel is not fired?
Yes, I'd be shocked. There's a whole lot of talking that's going on in Miami, and none of it's good. You got Mike McDaniel being sarcastic when it comes to staying with Tua as the starting quarterback. Then you got Tua saying that he doesn't want to throw the football blindly and he can't see over the offensive and defensive lines. It is a mess down there in Miami, and it's clear that the head coach doesn't have institutional control. And at some point, as an organization, you have to hold somebody accountable for the mess on the field. This could be that moment for the Miami Dolphins.
It almost feels as if Tua is doing a talk show arguing why Tua shouldn't be considered a franchise quarterback. Like, he's not a leader. He's not that tall. He's not as good as Josh Allen. Like, Tua, is he doing a show? Like, he's like literally on the air in Miami doing a show as to why Tua is not that good. Think about the talking points he has given us this year. I'm not as good as Josh Allen. I'm not a leader. And I can't see over the line to hit my number one receiver because Tyreek Hill's out and Jalen Waddle. That's not me saying that. That's him. But I still would actually be shocked now if Mike McDaniel was fired because...
Really?
Well, all the reporting out of Miami is that they're going to be patient with them and give them, quote, enough time to turn this around.
Yeah, that sounds good until it's bad on the field. And it has the makings of being as bad as we've seen the Dolphins this year because of the matchup. You're going up against the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson, who's averaging 152 yards from scrimmage per game. Miami is the worst rush defense in the NFL. 32 out of 32.
Ooh, bad matchup.
Did you see what Quinshad Judkins did to the Miami Dolphins last week? What do you think Bijan Robinson is going to do?
Run a lot, catch a lot of yards, touchdowns. I just think
the only thing that's going to stop him is the end zone. He's going to hit his head on the goalpost.
There's a step before the firing. Give this man a chance to plan a game plan on purpose without Tua as his quarterback. Bench Tua.
I tend to lean toward what you're saying, but does that inevitably save his job? No, it doesn't.
Well, I mean, I'm on the record as saying if the Ravens get terrible this year, or continue to be terrible this year, and the Ravens and John Harbaugh have this mutual Andy Reid Philadelphia, like we did it. I'm a Raven forever, but I probably should go somewhere else, and you probably should go somewhere else. That the Dolphins should hand the organization to John Harbaugh. That's who they should go for. By the way, I know this wasn't your question. Falcons better win this game. They better win this game. I know the questions about the Dolphins, Smalls, and Mike McDaniel, but
you saying whoever loses the game could get fired?
I mean, this could be a loser leaves town match.
Wow. Okay.
Not immediately. I'm just saying.
Okay, I got you.
That
it puts
we root for Raheem Morris, but like, come on
losing to
now.
the Dolphins, that's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Hey, listen, if you're Michael Penix Jr., you better make sure you're not the worst left-handed quarterback on the field.
He's tall though.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Tua would take Penix over Tua.
That's a great point.
Next one, Pat.
Second down.
Bills, Panthers, Evan. You can hear this one right here on ESPN Radio. Steve Levy and our guy, Harry Douglas. Well, both of them are our guys on the call. All right, Rico Dowdle has gone crazy for the Panthers this season. The Bills' defense has surrendered a league-worst 5.8 yards per carry. Is this an upset special?
It better not be with no Bryce Young on the field for the Carolina Panthers. The Buffalo Bills cannot lose this game. They cannot lose this game. They can't continue to lose ground to the New England Patriots. Coming off of a bye week, you lose to Rico Dowdle and the Carolina Panthers with Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback? No way. And I'm not saying that to disparage Andy Dalton because he's a professional quarterback, but there are levels to this thing. And if you're the Buffalo Bills, you have championship aspirations. Title contending teams don't lose games like this, especially coming off of an open week.
Good point, Evan. She said, Evan, you talked. I'm taking credit for that point.
It's a good point.
If that was good, put that on the show sheet as my point. If that was a good point, I'm taking credit for it.
I was just so excited to
I'm taking credit for it.
I was so excited to jump in there, though.
This is another one. You better not lose this. Like, I know the Panthers have a winning record. There's a bunch of teams that I look at and I'm like, I don't get it. Their record and our conversation about them doesn't align. The Panthers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Chargers. Like, it doesn't make sense. They have winning records. They have, in your case, Smalls, the Packers, the number one seed. But it doesn't feel that way. Buffalo, you better win. If the Buffalo Bills lose this game, you want to talk about upset alert? How about hot seat alert for Sean McDermott?
No.
You're fine.
Not in season.
No.
You're not going to win the division. You're not. If you lose this game to the Panthers, you're not winning the division. You're then going to be a wild
Do you
card.
remember what the Buffalo Bills were before Sean McDermott?
Yeah.
Well, I remember Marv Levy. I'm not going to hire him now, but I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry, you would have
They
not.
went damn near 2 decades without getting to the postseason.
Yeah, Sean McDermott, one of those guys, like the guy he worked for at Andy Reid, should be let go on a Tuesday and hired somewhere else on a Wednesday.
Don't you think your MVP quarterback might have something to say about that?
What is he going to say if they don't? If they lose a game like this, don't win the division, and a wild card team on the road that could be one and done? What is he going to say? I want to keep this going this way. Don't lose. They're not going to lose. Like, I don't believe any. Maybe I'm nuts. I don't believe the Eagles are going to lose to the Giants. I don't believe the Bills are going to lose to the Panthers.
Did you not just see what we have a pathway to success? Rico Dowdle has been unbelievable this season. He can absolutely run through this
He's
Bills
awesome.
defense. Let's not say that the Bills aren't going to lose this game. There is a clear mismatch here in the Panthers' favor.
I don't think they're going to lose.
Okay, are you willing to bet some money on it?
Ooh.
Jar
I
money?
like
Because I want this chicken parm pizza.
I like this.
Are you ready to put your money where your mouth is?
Yes,
Because we've been talking about the
Evan
chicken
Cohen.
parm pizza. I'm running a lot. I'm hungry. Your girl wants to eat.
Well, you're making me run, too, next week. I
I'm not
have to
making you do
26.
anything.
Ev, I mean, she put you on the spot.
Let me see. I'm going to ESPN Bet right now. Bet responsibly.
Okay.
1-800-GAMBLER. Let me see the numbers here. So keep going, and I'll give you the. Okay, so Bills.
7.5.
You know what? Let's go. Taking the Bills right now.
You're laying
On
the
the money line?
7.5?
Why not?
Okay.
He's laying the 7.5.
What are the stakes? Steaks?
Hold on. I don't
I'm
eat
hungry.
red meat. But, it says -7.5.
Yeah, what are the stakes?
I don't know what did I just bet. I don't know. You're asking me to do a lot here.
Okay.
Oh, potential bet 10 to win 20.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
But then are you going to put money in the bad take jar so we can all go out to eat or what?
Yeah.
You just asked me to bet. I just literally in segment it went to ESPN Bet and
Yeah,
bet.
so $10 on ESPN Bet, and then you got $10 in the jar.
Yeah,
you don't
I
gotta
asked
win
you.
it. You gotta
I asked
match
you
it.
to bet into the jar, not ESPN Bet. But obviously, we
you
want to
can
support
bet on
ESPN Bet.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But now you have to also put that same amount of money
Vegas
in the
East,
jar.
we need a ruling here.
That was them saying.
Yeah, he doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen, is what
Yeah.
Nuno just
All
said.
right. Okay.
Pat,
Whatever.
next one.
What is it?
3rd down.
You can also hear this one right here on ESPN Radio. Chris Carlin and Darius Butler on the call. Titans, Colts. Cece, if the Titans beat the Colts, is there a new champion in our worst loss of the season bracket? Talk about a must-win game.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be. Now, here's the thing.
Or better win game, I should say.
I'm always leery of division games that have such a huge line. This is over 2 touchdowns.
Yes, it's huge.
And I get it. The Tennessee Titans are a mess. Mike McCoy, the interim head coach. Jeffrey Simmons is banged up. He's got a hamstring, so he's not going to be involved in this one. I would just say this. Division games have a tendency to be ugly, and the Tennessee Titans don't necessarily have a firm identity. I would just look at this as a kitchen sink game for them. Any and everything, because right now they know that this season is not going to go the way that they anticipated at the outset. So the next best thing for all of those guys in the Titans locker room is to play spoiler. And there is no better opportunity to do that against a division rival that everybody is lauding as the best team in football. So while this is a game that Indianapolis should dominate, I will say this. I think it ends up being closer than the experts think.
Ooh.
Well, this is another one. They better win this, and I think they
Every
will.
game is a better win game in
No.
week 8 for you, huh?
Yeah. So you want to know? Here's my notes.
Okay. Run it down
NFL
for me.
this week. Meaningful games more than good games. A bunch of can't lose games.
Do you have the
All right,
list?
give me the teams that can't lose.
Okay. Atlanta cannot lose to Miami.
Okay.
All right. Cincinnati cannot lose to the Jets.
Okay.
New England cannot lose to Cleveland.
All right.
Philadelphia cannot lose to the Giants.
All right.
Buffalo cannot lose to Carolina.
All right.
Tampa cannot lose to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Indianapolis cannot lose to Tennessee.
That's damn near the whole slate.
That's the theme for this week. Am I wrong?
That's 7 games, dog.
Right. That's okay. Come up with a better theme for this
Hell,
week.
there ain't but 12.
That's how many Denver.
What?
Denver Dallas is a good matchup of the two teams, right? San Francisco, Houston, maybe Sunday Night Football is amazing in terms of Green Bay and Pittsburgh. Monday Night Football, Washington and Kansas City. Look at the slate of games and tell me the matchup where you're like, you know what? I kind of love this. Both teams going up against each other versus the nervousness and anxiousness the fan base will have going into a game of winning an obvious game and the nervousness around, oh my God, what if we lose this thing? That's the theme for this weekend. Meaningful games more than good games on the surface and a lot of can't lose games.
Okay.
Last one, Pat.
4th down.
Well, you mentioned Jets-Bengals, Evan. Tyrod Taylor listed as questionable. He was a limited participant at practice yesterday. If Tyrod Taylor can't go and Justin Fields has to start or get meaningful playing time, does this give Aaron Glenn cover for a loss after what owner Woody Johnson said about Justin Fields this week?
Can I ask a question to your question? Do you have to activate a third quarterback if you're the Jets? Because are you comfortable if you're Aaron Glenn putting Justin Fields on the field?
Yeah, we paying him. He cashing a check, ain't he?
Do you have to ask for permission? I'm being serious. I know he's the coach. You don't have to ask for permission in that spot?
No.
But they're 0-7 if they drop to 0-8 based on what happened this week with the conversation around Justin Fields. If he has to play, they go out there and lose. Cece, does this give Aaron Glenn cover for a loss?
I don't know if it gives him cover for a loss because Aaron Glenn is going to have to run into some wins. And right now they're in the midst of a stretch where it seems entirely possible that they can get one. Right? It started last week with the Carolina Panthers. They got the Cincinnati Bengals. Open date. Coming off of that, they got the Cleveland Browns at home. You're going to have to run into a win at some point over the next 3 games. That was what I said going into week 7. They got 2 more opportunities. He better make it happen.
Well, we got a busy weekend here on ESPN Radio. Starting tonight, we have the World Series Game 1, Dodgers and the Blue Jays. You can catch all the action 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. And then you fast forward to Sunday, as Small as just mentioned. We have the doubleheader, Panthers, Bills. Bills better win at noon, followed by the Titans and Colts. Colts better win. Coverage begins at noon Eastern on select ESPN radio stations. Our buddy Peter Schrager will join us after Smalls has this from the Wellness Company.
Do you ever wake up with a sore throat, you're feeling a little off, and you know you're getting sick? With my schedule, getting sick and going on the IL simply isn't an option. You can try to see a doctor, good luck with that, or go sit for hours in an urgent care. Nope. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. And this isn't some cheap first aid kit. Your medical emergency...
And 2, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. Peter Schrager, ESPN NFL analyst. He's got his podcast. Check it out because the dinner conversation that Sean McVay had around getting a job with the Rams and who was involved in him getting the job, which includes but not limited to Fergie, Josh Duhamel, and
Wolfgang Puck.
You know what, Schrager? I'm going to leave it at that. Let people go listen to the podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
Let them listen to the podcast.
What
All
a
right.
crew.
That's a good crew.
And okay, I'm going to add one other thing. And all of them not realizing who Sean McVay was and asking him who he thought the next head coach of the Rams would be.
30-year-old Sean McVay.
Okay, I just gave it. Whatever.
He's trying to get the job. It's the last step, and he tells the story on my podcast this week. He was great. Gave me an hour. He was awesome. He's trying to get the job with the Rams. He thinks it's a done deal. They've told him, like, hey, just come to dinner with the owner. Gets there. They go to Spago in Beverly Hills spot, and he's 30 years old, dressed in Abercrombie and Fitch, underdressed, not looking great.
Great brand.
Shows up there. He's got the chin strap beard. He's like, I should not have looked this way. Looked like a 10-year-old kid. Goes there. Wolfgang Puck, owner of the restaurant, comes up and is like, so who's going to be the next head coach? And they're all awkwardly looking around, and McVay's just kind of nervous, like, I don't know. He thought he was going to be. And then Fergie and Josh Duhamel are both apparently Rams season ticket holders. They're like, so we're excited. They put their arms around Stan Kroenke, the owner. Who's going to be the head coach? And Sean's just sitting there at the table, and they're like, yeah. And then they didn't offer him the job that night. He's like, I think they cost me the job. The fact that no one knew who I was, I think they might have cost me the job.
It's LA. You got to know.
You got to know. You got to be the guy. So that's the story.
Schrager, let's start.
It worked out.
It worked out. It's all right.
Why is Jordan Love the most interesting man in the NFL?
I just think this is such a fun week of football because of this Aaron Rodgers storyline, and yet Jordan Love might steal the entire show on Sunday. This is a guy who I think is getting a lot of slack this year and a lot of ish this year for not getting the job done. And if you look at the numbers, he's second in the league in the fourth quarter as far as QB rating goes. He's great on third down, and he's thrown 10 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. This is the Aaron Rodgers coronation. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. Rodgers already took the fangs out of this thing when he was like, I love being a Packer. I want to end my career as a Packer. Like, this isn't a revenge game to him. doesn't feel like it has this animosity we were hoping for. We were like, oh, Packers, Steelers. I think Jordan Love comes in on a nationally televised game and lights it up. And I think he just absolutely terrorizes that Pittsburgh defensive backfield. And we come out Monday morning, instead of us being like Rodgers and this coronation of Rodgers against the Packers, it's like, oh, wait, maybe Jordan Love's really good in this Packers team, who right now is the best record in the NFC, is the team we should be talking about more.
Do you really believe that from Aaron Rodgers, though, that this isn't a revenge game? He's been quiet this season based on everything we know about him, and he shared a lot with us. Do we really think this one doesn't have a little extra juice for him?
It was such a bizarre week of media for him. He was all love and all appreciation, and like that last year in Green Bay, that was not the case towards Goody, towards all the fact he wouldn't pick up his FaceTime, like all that stuff. I honestly think that the turbulent last few months with the Jets actually took the fangs out of things with the Packers for him. For Aaron Glenn to not want to even give him the opportunity to talk to him, and the second he flew across the country to meet with Aaron Glenn, and Aaron Glenn's like, no, dude, I'm just going to tell you we're good. And he's like, you could have told me that over the phone before I flew in. I think the animosity was more towards the Jets than the Packers, which seems to be like an ex-girlfriend from years ago, and you just think about the fond memories, not the ugly breakup.
Shregs, we were talking a little bit offline about the weird around the Baltimore Ravens, the Lamar Jackson injury coming off of the bye week, him not practicing earlier in the week. They're taking the ping pong tables, the cornhole, and the video games out of the locker room. I hate to be doom and gloom because I love the Ravens organization. But if this season continues to spiral, could we see some significant changes in Baltimore?
I would think there would be a change. I don't know if that's Harbaugh's job. I don't think that he's in danger, but I would think they would change some coaching positions if this season continues to go this way. I feel as though last year they started off so slow and then they turned it around. So we've just been waiting. Like, we're waiting, all of us this season. Like, all right, well, it happened last year. They can do it again. But Lamar was at practice. I don't know if he did a full practice. Like, we might see Snoop Huntley this weekend. And if it's Snoop Huntley at home against the Bears, I don't know if that gives the Ravens the edge. And if they lose this one, I know the AFC North is not exactly world beaters, especially if the Steelers lose. 1-7 is a hard place to be if that's what you're looking at in the future.
So does the Lamar Jackson injury give John Harbaugh cover for what's going on with this season?
I wouldn't be so bold to speak on behalf of Steve Bisciotti, because I remember Brian Billick had one bad year and they fired him. And he's done it in the past, but he's been so loyal to Harbaugh since, I guess, 2008 when he was hired, that I would like to think that this wouldn't be the season that if their quarterback wasn't on the field with all the injuries, that this would be the one where they pull the plug. But I don't know. The NFL is a crazy place. We see things happen all the time. But I would certainly not expect it to be a mid-season move or anything.
Oh, certainly no.
Premature.
Yeah.
We're talking with ESPN NFL analyst Peter Schrager here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. The Minnesota Vikings today, that organization wakes up and they are thinking the most about Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, or Kirk Cousins.
Is that crazy? I mean, or is it just, I came on Get Up. Let me pat myself on the back. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I came on Get Up before the season and I said there's maybe no quarterback. I think I didn't even say maybe. I said there is no quarterback with more pressure on him this season than JJ McCarthy. And I remember Orlovsky looked at me like I was crazy. Because even in that division, Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, there were so many topics of like these other teams, these quarterbacks, of course, Jordan Love, with all these expectations. But what they passed on this offseason from what they could have retained, I mean, if they just even franchise tagged Sam Darnold, they could have done that. They had the money to do that and said, okay, let's see what happens with JJ, and then we can kind of. Daniel Jones was their backup last year when they traded for him. They didn't retain him. And then, of course, the Rodgers dalliance, we didn't know how serious that was, but I think Rodgers was interested. And now you're sitting in a spot where it's, all right, we're protecting J.J. McCarthy in styrofoam here. He obviously has a high ankle sprain, and we don't want him behind those two offensive linemen. But now you're behind the eight ball, and it's like all his career is going to be is what they didn't retain unless he exceeds those expectations. It's a huge mountain to climb. And, oh, by the way, he's coming off a major injury last year and what seems to be a very big injury this year, that he's missed 6 weeks with an ankle injury.
Shregs, how did the Broncos' loss impact what the job security, job status of Brian Dable is going to be into the future?
Oh, the game in the Broncos. They haven't played a complete game all season except for the Eagles game. And I think that's what the stunning thing was with that. But so many people are to blame for that Broncos loss. Players are to blame, coaching staff.
Joe Shane for not
front
having
office
a good
for the
kicker,
kicking situation.
Yeah.
That said, they did have Younghoe Koo, and the coaches are the ones who pick who's going to dress. It's not Joe Shane saying, "Hey, you're going to play the Irish kid." It's you could go a million ways. It's not. Like,
No, I know, and that's actually how he got on the roster because they had an exemption for the international exemption.
He didn't take up a roster
You were just saying
spot.
the Irish kid. There's actually a strategy behind that.
Yes, and I love my Irish friends. I was saying it because there's a strategy in that, and that he doesn't take up an actual roster spot, and Younghoe Koo does. So you can go around and around. That is an all-time loss, but I would argue the way they lost to the Cowboys was a crazy loss. And the way they lost to the Saints, 5 turnovers and 5 straight possessions when they were up 14-6, like that's a crazy way to lose. So they haven't played a complete game yet. And I'm going into this game against the Eagles on Sunday, and I don't think it's must win necessarily because they're obviously huge underdogs in this. But you'd like to see them respond from getting knocked down on the mat that way. And if they show up lifeless in Philly and Philly puts a smackdown on them, I think there's going to be a lot of frustrated people.
But what happens if the opposite is true?
Yeah.
What if they go into Philly, a place they haven't won, I believe, since 2013, and they beat them twice? What happens in Philly after that?
We're right back on the board as far as Giants bandwagon, Scattaboo and Dart. And I know you guys saw Scattaboo at the Knicks game wearing a Brunson jersey, jumping around. What town did he remind you of a kid from when you saw that outfit in the tri-state area? I said Ronkonkoma. What would you say? I was like, he looked like Cam from Ronkonkoma under the baseline, just going nuts.
ESPN New York?
Yes, like he's calling ESPN New York. He's either from like Paramus or
that's what I would have said. Paramus.
Like just
Hey, Michael K. It's Cam from Paramus. I want to talk about Jalen Brunson.
I just want to talk. Why I don't like the way Mike Brown's using the bench, all that stuff. But it's we're right back on board.
But what happens in Philly?
In Philly, then there's some real questions, and it's like the chemistry and how do we rebuild this, and is it 2023 all over again? It's such a tenuous spot with them because they won last week and they've already beaten the Buccaneers, they've beaten the Chiefs, they've beaten the Rams, they've beaten good teams and the teams that we're supposed to be concerned about in the NFC, and yet they come off a win. And all we talk about on ESPN is what's wrong with the Eagles and what's up with AJ Brown and why is he tweeting. They lose again. It's another, and they go into the bye week. It's another 10 days of us saying the sky is falling for a team that's going to be 5-3.
Shregs, how would you describe what happened with the Jets this week?
That quote, it's like just when you think the seas couldn't get more rocky, like that quote from Woody Johnson is so tough to handle as a team because you're just trying to go about your business. And then he says that, and it actually, you got more context on it. Apparently it comes from things that Aaron Glenn has said as well. It's like, we just need better play and completing a pass. It wasn't a shot at Justin Fields, but like, if you're Justin Fields, how do you go to work? And how do you look at that owner? And it's, yes, I collect the check, but like that is such a tough quote. And then from there to have Aaron Glenn in front of the media say like, I'm not going to reveal who's starting because I want the competitive advantage. Yes, that's true. Empirically, that's true. That is what every team would say. But it's comical based on the performance and the quotes that we got. Like you gotta, everything is in a vacuum here. And this team is just spiraling. It feels like it could be like one of these games where they go to Cincinnati and they win. And it's like, oh, look, they rallied around it. But I don't see the wins on the schedule right now, the way they're playing on offense. I don't see them being able to pull this together, and it's not through a lack of talent. They have some players. It seems like it's one of those deals that, especially in front of that home crowd on Sunday, like it's been bad when Jets land. Like that quote from Woody, compounded by the way they're playing, like it's really bad right now.
Peter Schrager, ESPN NFL analyst. Listen to his latest pod, of course, with Sean McVay. You get great stories. Those two guys are awesome together for an hour. As he said, get up at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Coming up, I said there's one good matchup of two good teams potentially against each other. We will get into that matchup, not just a can't-lose matchup, next on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.